This weather is unbearable. What is up, everyone? This is Ellibod here. Welcome to the Ellibod Sports Network. And the Football League season getting closer and closer, so that means I throw my hat once again into predicting the top two divisions in England. That is the Premiership and the Championship. I won't go any lower. I'm still not going to touch League 1 and 2 because they are an entirely different kettle of fish. But in this video it is the Championship, and the Championship is just an absolute nightmare to predict. You think that the obvious contenders are going to be chasing for promotion and they nearly get relegated, and teams that you think will be surefire for relegation end up in the playoffs. I know that feeling from last season. But let's see how well I can do this time around. I missed my target last time in the Championship, so I am out for redemption this season. Remember, I use a point system for my predictions, and I allow myself a 2-place caveat for my predictions. If I get the prediction spot on, I score 5 points. If I am 1 place out, I score 3 points. If I am 2 places out, I score 1 point. Anything further than that is an incorrect prediction and I score nothing. So we're going to do this now for the Championship. And I'm not going to waste any more time because it is bloody hot in here. And, well, let's just get to the predictions. And, well, here we go. So, 24th, I am not going to make the same mistake I made last time with this club. 24th, Reading. I predicted you lot to win the Championship last season, and you tanked hard. And that points deduction didn't do you any favours, but even then you guys were absolute crap. And as far as I've seen from this season, from pre-season form and from the transfer news, it's no different. You're still crap. So do you know what? Considering you only just survived relegation last season, this season, Reading are going down. I am not making the same mistake I made last time, predicting you lot to win the Championship. I still can't think of what possessed me to think that you lot were going to win the Championship. So this season I'm going to put it right. Relegation for Reading. 23rd. You know this club's going to be here. Rotherham. Every time Rotherham are in the Championship, they get relegated straight away. So this season will be the same again for Rotherham. You come back up only to go straight back down, and it's actually laughable. It's almost of joke status. It's like whenever QPR or West Brom come up to the Premier League, they just go straight back down. And Rotherham, you are no different with the Championship. You may have come second with in League 1 last season, which, okay, is an improvement over the going through via the playoffs, and I'll come to that team in a moment. But it's Rotherham. You're going to go straight back down. And on the subject of going down, and on the subject of talking about teams that go to the Premier League only to come straight back down, 22nd, you're going to be dreaming of the Premier League now, because you're never going to come back to it, not with Steve Bruce. 22nd, West Brom. You want to chase promotion with Steve Bruce. You want the Premier League, Bruce. You want to be playing with the best football teams in England, Bruce. You want that, and you're going with Steve Bruce. Not going to happen. It's going to be relegation, like he nearly did to my club last season. And by the time that you lot see sense and sack him, it will be too late. Steve Bruce is going to get West Brom relegated. And, you know, even if you allow my 2-place caveat, and let's say you make it into 20th, that's the best you're going to do. It's not going to be a good season for West Brom. Not with Steve Bruce at the helm. There really isn't much else I can put onto that, so it's just... Again, West Brom, the football you're playing under Steve Bruce is almost the exact same as the style of football that was being played when Bruce was managing my club, Newcastle United. You're becoming less compact, there are more defensive errors, and it's leading to easy goals. And the pre-season form that I've seen from West Brom, I mean, for God's sake, you lost to Stevenage. And I know it's like pre-season friendly, and a lot of people say they don't count, but pre-season friendlies are an indicator of how a team is doing. And you don't want to go into a season on a bad run of form. And right now, West Brom are on that. Again, by the time you see sense and sack Steve Bruce, it will be too late. So I'm predicting West Brom for 22nd. 21st and just escaping relegation. The news regarding this team just gets worse and worse and worse every single day. And again, I hope you enjoy watching Aston Villa dominating football in the city, because Birmingham, you are a non-entity. If you live in the city of Birmingham, then Aston Villa is the club to watch. Birmingham City are absolute nutcases, and every single headline I've read about them this pre-season, going into this season, it's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So, yeah, you'll escape relegation only because the 3 teams below you are going to do worse. And it should tell you something that I'm predicting this next team in 20th to finish above you. 20th, the shit pit, Sunderland. I desperately want to see Sunderland fail and fall back down, but at the same time, there's another part of me that actually wants them to succeed, because I want the North East Derby back in the Premier League. But at the same time, you know, you never wish your rivals to do well. So, I mean, yeah, you came up via the playoffs last season. Good for you. But you're not gonna. I don't think you're gonna come any higher than 20th this season. You'll probably avoid relegation. There'll probably be a bit of a relegation scrap. You'll probably avoid it by the skin of your teeth. But nah, it's not going to be any higher for the shit pit. So, Sunderland in 20th and 19th. You finished here last season, you're going to finish here again this season. Hull. Hull are an optimistic club. Their fans are some of the most highly energetic that I've seen. Of course, the recent years have been tough for the Tigers, but no, I think that Hull will try and establish a solid presence in the Championship before trying to get a promotion chase. But yeah, it's probably not going to be a great season this year either for Hull City. Mainly because, again, I haven't really seen much change in the pre-season form or in the transfers. So, yeah, 19th for Hull City. But I hope actually Hull do well. And I hope Hull stay in the Championship because, well, Hull deserve to stay in the Championship. They're a good club. Another club I'm hoping stay in the Championship because I respect them and what they've had to go through with the owners that they have had. Trust me, we've been there. So 18th, I have gone with Blackpool. Blackpool, respectable last season. Finishing in 16th. Yep, I am just checking the table from last season just to make sure my information is correct. I do not want to be a spreader of false information. I'm not Fox News. But yeah, respectable 16th from last season. It will be a bit of a drop this year, but no, I think Blackpool should stay up. So we now have another team coming up from League One from last season, and I think it'll be all right for them. 17th, I have gone with Wigan. I still have a vague memory of Wigan in the Championship, in the Premiership. Of course, I have a vague memory of Wigan in the Championship. They're in it this season, but I have a memory of Wigan in the Premier League, and I remember watching them and actually kind of thinking they were fun. So it's nice to see Wigan coming back up. I'm hoping that they stay up this season. I think 17th is the best you can make it, because the team you have at the moment is still in that kind of League One caliber area. From what I've read, there's been nothing too major in the transfer window, but yeah, you should stay up. I think the team that wins League One the previous season does tend to at least make 1 or 2 seasons in the Championship. And Wigan did, of course, win League One last season by 2 points over Rotherham. So it's kind of a bit of a weird thing that I'm predicting Rotherham for relegation and Wigan to survive sort of comfortably. But again, I think the situation with Rotherham I've already established. And Wigan, I think, are a decent enough club. And they deserve to be in the Championship. Here's a team that don't deserve to be in the Championship, but given that they made the playoffs last time, it will be a drop, but I think they're going to stay in the Championship this season again. 16th, I have gone with Huddersfield. So I predicted you lot for relegation last season. You ended up almost winning the playoffs and going to the Premier League. I'm still going to say thank God you didn't. But again, I see this season being a drop-off. From what I've seen of the pre-season, things haven't been convincing. And there's still the defensive leakage that has not been plugged at the back. So that will be a crippler for Huddersfield this season. But I reckon there will be something of a desire to try and chase early but drop off. So 16th for Huddersfield. 15th, I have gone with that most stable of championship clubs, Stoke. The Tony Pulis club. Of course, I know Tony Pulis isn't your manager any longer, but he was the manager. When I think of Stoke City, I think Tony Pulis. But yeah, you're not in such a state that you could be a relegation contender, but you're not really doing anything that says we're chasing promotion. I think you're still just happy to be a championship club, and you're just willing to stay there. So yeah, 15th for Stoke City this season. 14th, I have got Coventry. Pretty good season last season, and again, I think you'll look to establish yourself a solid championship club. Try and get a good couple of seasons in before trying to have a major chase for promotion. Can't really say much else regarding Coventry, but from what I've understood, from what I've read about the club, they seem to be on the up and up in terms of finances and in terms of actually their club status. So I think Coventry will now look to establish themselves as a solid championship club before trying to go for a promotion chase. And when it comes to promotion chases, a club that chased for promotion last season, despite the fact that I predicted them not to, I think this season, a bit like Huddersfield, it will be a drop-off. 13th, I have got Luton. Luton Town are going to have a drop-off this season, and it's weird because there's still all that talk about that new stadium that's never, ever been near starting. You keep on talking how you're going to move into it soon, and you never do. Pre-season form, you've been okay from what I've read. News regarding your club has been meh. It will be a drop-off, but 13th is still respectable. Can't really say much else on Luton, I must admit. And that's the first when I really can't say much else about Luton. Right, so now we get into the top half of the Championship. To finish in 12th, I have gone with Millwall. Again, this is a club that you either predict them to do really well and they end up nearly getting relegated, or you predict them to get relegated and they nearly get promotion. But I think at the moment, given form in the pre-season, as well as some of the transfer news, what there has been of it, and just how Millwall are conducting themselves as a club, you seem to be once again looking to establish yourself in the Championship before trying to get a promotion chase. But, you know, again, that's a dangerous game to play. To be chasing this promotion or trying to establish a solid base before chasing a promotion, because that can fall out from underneath you. I mean, look at Birmingham. But I think Millwall will be a respectable middle of the road team in the Championship. So we now go with 11th, and it's gonna be, I think it will be a good season for Bristol City. So last season, Bristol City, kind of all over the place. This season, I think they're going to start to really establish themselves. It won't be a promotion chase, but it will definitely Bristol City will turn a lot of heads this season. So 11th for Bristol City this season. Into the top 10 now. 10th place, I have gone with Preston North End. Again, this is a club that you feel they should chase. You feel that they should be getting something in terms of a promotion hunt. But Preston North End, it's kind of a bit of a wild card. So I can't put them any higher than 10th. It will be an improvement on last season, but yeah, no higher than 10th. Possibly 8th, again, if you allow the 2-place caveat, but I think 10th is realistic. Next we have 9th place, and I am going with QPR, Queen's Park Rangers. QPR, solid team. Kind of ran a bit like a madhouse, but they're getting some of the moves right. And the style of football they've been playing has actually been pretty solid. If they keep that up this season, then it will be an improvement. However, again, I don't think QPR are doing enough to get into those playoff places or to get close to them. So, 9th, I think, it will be a good placement for Ninth will be a good placement for QPR. In 8th place, it is time to make a comeback. Swansea. Last season, I believe I predicted you for promotion, and it was a tank of a season. Not as bad as Reading, but still. No, but this Welsh club will be looking for redemption this season, and I think they're going to get towards that kind of path. They might scrape into the playoffs, but more than likely, that's a train going by my house, so if you want to know how close I live to the trains, I'm amazed they're still going, because apparently the strike action's been going on, but whatever, there I go, I get a little bit political. I think Swansea will start to recover from last season, but will not get enough to get to the playoffs. Another club not doing enough to get to the playoffs, another Welsh club, Cardiff. Both Welsh clubs will be looking for redemption from last season, and again, I think Cardiff will finish just above Swansea, missing out on the playoffs by maybe a point. If not a point, then goal difference. That's how close I think it will be between Cardiff and the team I have placed in 6th. I think Cardiff will be desperate for that chase, but miss out by the narrowest margin. Again, if you look at some of the news regarding Cardiff City, it's looking on the positive. Hopefully, it turns into results in the table. So we have now got our playoff places, the teams I'm predicting for the playoffs, and 6th I am going with Burnley, the former Sean Dyche team, and I'm still going to say that about a brief side note about Sean Dyche. If Southgate does get sacked, and eventually he will, I would actually like Sean Dyche to be England manager, because I think, you know, okay, yeah, Sean Dyche is the conservative style of football that a lot of England fans come to expect, but maybe don't like. I know I'm not a lover of conservative football, but Sean Dyche does it in a way that I actually think is good. So I'd like to see Sean Dyche be given a go with the England job. Anyway, on to Burnley. So it's Vincent Kompany, isn't it, now, who's managing Burnley? I think he'll try and play a very interesting style. I think Burnley will be an early contender for automatic promotion, but then slip. Which is why I'm going with them for 6th place, just making it into the playoffs. I think that the drastic change in style for Burnley will be a bit of a shake-up. It might be one that the players don't get used to straight away, but they will get used to it over time. I reckon it will be a bright future for Burnley, but this season will be a bit shaky. But just making the playoffs, because they've got the caliber of players needed to chase for the playoff. Whether or not they would win the playoffs, I think it will be another team that I'm predicting. So, I have Burnley as my first playoff team. My next playoff team, 5th place, I have got Sheffield United. Sheffield United are a desperate machine. They finished 5th last season, if I remember correctly. Yes, they did. So I reckon they'll finish 5th again. I think Sheffield United are desperate to get back into the Premier League. And I think they're kind of scared and fearing that what happened to Sheffield Wednesday might happen to them, which is why I'm thinking they want to get back to the Premier League as soon as possible. Yeah, not really much else I can say regarding Sheffield United. I think it should be playoffs. Again, if you allow my 2-place caveat, they might miss out, but I don't think they'll get higher than 3rd. So playoffs again for Sheffield United, but I don't think they'll win the playoffs. The team I think will win the playoffs is the team I'm predicting for 4th, Middlesbrough. Again, this club missed out last time. Narrowly missing out on getting to that Premier League summit. And, you know, I'd like to see Middlesbrough back in the, the Premier League. Of course, as I just mentioned, they missed the playoffs last time, just missing out on a chance of getting back to that summit. I reckon this year they will come 4th in the playoffs and they will win the playoffs against the team I'm predicting for 3rd place. I reckon this season they'll have automatic promotion in the grasp of their hands, let it slip, win against Burnley in the semi-final, and then lose to Middlesbrough in the final, and that is Norwich. I think things for Norwich are going to start to go a little bit south. I think this is a club that, you know, I hate the yo-yo status with certain clubs, which you might call me a hypocrite for because of the team I'm predicting to win, which I will get to. I'll probably spoil who it is already now, but anyway. I think Norwich will let it slip. I think Norwich will have a little bit of a Steven Gerrard. But it will still be a good season for Norwich. They'll get into the playoffs comfortably. And then they will lose to Middlesbrough in the playoff final by a single goal. So Norwich will miss out. So the 2 teams I am predicting for the top 2. 2nd place. Securing promotion. Coming back to where they belong. Blackburn. I think it is time Blackburn come back to the Premier League. And again, they were tight in the chase till the final day and then slipped up. Blackburn will be determined not to let it happen again. I've mentioned in the past about how this club has been strangled by their ownership, but they are starting to... Blackburn are really starting to find themselves. And I'm really, really hoping that Blackburn can secure that promotion to the Premier League. It's where they belong. And from what I've seen of Blackburn, looking back at their form last season and the pre-season friendlies and some of the news coming out of the club, it looks to be good. Now, the team I'm predicting to win, you know who it is now. I am praying that they can sort out some of the management issues. And I think this season they will. 1st place, winning the championship, I am going to go with Watford. I think Watford will establish themselves solid in the championship. It will be a strong season, and Watford will come back up to the Premier League in flying colours. There might be a hiccup along the way, but that will be it. Nothing further than that. I think the players at Watford are the players they need to win the championship. And provided that they don't go on a managerial sacking spree, then yeah, I think Watford will have it made. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, my prediction for the championship this season. There are going to be some very interesting... It's going to be interesting to look back at this when the season ends. Again, I'm hoping I have beat my score. I'm hoping that I meet my target, which is 24 points. So, in theory, I have to get at least every single team within the 2-place caveat. If I get every team 2 places out, I meet my target of 24 points. But of course, I'll be looking for some of those spot-on predictions, and I'll be hoping I can get at least 4. That's what I want. If I can get 4 spot-on, hey, do you know what? I'll go with 5. I had my thumb up there accidentally, but you know what? I'll go with it. 5 spot-on predictions. That is what I would like to see. And looking at my predictions and the current form of the teams, I think I could do pretty good this season. Only time will tell, I guess.